welcome to Intentional Queen Podcast, Journey to Restoration with your host, Janine. I'm a certified life coach, podcaster, speaker, and now, y'all, an author. Whoop, whoop. So, welcome back, guys. I empower women to become the best versions of themselves on their self love, self healing, and growth mindset journey. We are now into June, and I'm going to call that thing Hot Girl Summer, but we're going to call it Hot Healing Girl Summer. And we just going to be talking about telling our story and how to just heal. That's going to be our whole theme for the summer. If you are a mom, you need to know these kids is getting ready to be on summer break. So hopefully we getting them all situated in camps or activities. And so we're going to be busy. And if you don't have kids, that's fine, because I feel like my channel has something for everybody. And my new ebook, it came out, and it's called Dear Diary Single Moms Edition. God had put it on my heart that I was supposed to write this ebook. It's 74 pages. It's detailed with a mini workbook. I go through so much in-depth detail about queen tribes, community, how to be an emotionally available mom. I mean, it's pretty detailed, and it's blessing the intentional queen tribe near and far. So I said I would be doing a limited promotion. So because y'all are my tribe and y'all tune into me every 2 weeks on Thursdays, I had to put a special code in for you guys. So I'm doing a limited deal. 25% off coupon code. Just type in podcast at the checkout and you will go ahead and get that 25% discount for the limited time. So I have a YouTube video if you're looking at how to buy the book, how to get the book, what's on the book. I made a YouTube video for that. You can find that on my YouTube channel, Intentional Queen Journey. I also made a blog post, and it's on my homepage on intentionalqueenjourney.com. So those are the places that you can find it. And I'm just calling it that summer reading that's going to upgrade your healing journey. And I just know you're going to be blessed by it because I've heard good feedback. Just a little side note. I did a branding shoot, and I just want to shout out my whole glam squad and my photographer, because they did that thing and they helped me to celebrate the success of me building my legacy, and just helping for me to just sit in that minute and just say, "Ooh, girl, you did that." So I want to shout them out right here, because sometimes they tune in, but I want to tell them thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're not on the email newsletter, I have the Intentional Refuel. It comes out the last Thursday of every month. So we just had one that came out in May. And thank you guys for supporting me. We had some new subscribers. So thank you. Thank you for joining the tribe. We appreciate you. And it comes out, like I said, the last Thursday of every month. How do you sign up? You can go ahead and sign up on my website, Intentional Queen Journey. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Sign in right there. If you buy the ebook, you'll already be put on the list. So you got some options there, but I just thank you for everybody and your support. Let's recap what we talked about in May. I'm a nurse, so Nurses Week was last month, and also it was Mother's Day. And so that's why a lot of my content was based upon that, because I just want to support the crew who's out there listening and just making sure we're empowering each other out here in these streets. The last episode was with Whitney Morgan. She actually has a mentoring group where she mentors women and girls. It's called When Women Speak. And I did a whole thing on her, and it was called The Art and Balance of Being a Mompreneur. And I hope that blessed some people as well. So that's the last episode. And then, the first one in May, I talked about self-worth. And that one was, that was a good one. I got a lot of reviews on that. A lot of people slid in my DM on that. So if you need that self-worth talk, go back and listen to that. It's just going to bless your soul. All right. So what we're going to talk about today, that's enough of all the intro and all that, but let's just talk about it. I missed you, number one. And so today it was just on my spirit to talk about perfection paralysis. I don't know what I'm going to name it in the end, but we're going to talk about, tips on how we can just show up and not make it be perfect. I was watching a YouTube video, and it had Les Brown, Les. He's a motivational speaker. And he had said something on this YouTube video that just resonated with me. He said, practice makes improvement. He had asked the audience, practice makes what? And everybody said perfection. But he said, no, practice makes improvement. And I had to sit with that for a minute, because it's like, it does make improvement. I used to think everything just had to be dot of the I and cross of the T in order for me to execute. But what happens when you do that, boo-boo, is you become stagnant, because now you didn't even do nothing, because you didn't been sitting and trying to make it perfect, and you have not even made a step. So I think we're going to really have to talk about that. And it just goes back to my book as well, because I was a little stagnant in on how I wanted to roll out, what I wanted to look like. And I was just sitting on this baby for a minute. And then I just got to a point. I said, listen, we just gonna birth this thing. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be. And the people that it's for is gonna receive it. And it has. And so this is me just giving you my testimony right now, that it doesn't have to be perfect in order for it to make an impact. Okay, one more time for the person in the back. It does not have to be perfect for it to make an impact. And most of the time, people want to see that it doesn't have to be perfect in order to let them know it's okay, so that they can step out. Because if you make everything look easy, and if you make everything look so perfect, then everybody thinks that's how it should be. And that's not necessarily true. So we're going to break that paralysis spirit off of you, with perfection. We're just going to break that thing. We're just going to break that thing today. I just feel it in my spirit. So I always talk about you win or you learn. You know how people be like, you win or you lose, but I feel like you win or you learn. So even if you start a project, whatever that means, you're either going to win or you're going to learn something from it. Okay. They talked about in the past about Thomas Edison. Okay. And he tried to make that light bulb like thousands of times. So he failed thousands of times. And I think it was even more than that. But the point I'm saying here is he just kept going and kept going, and you just modify along the way. I was coaching my client on that a couple weeks back, and I was just so proud to see her this past week show me how she has shown up from a previous business that didn't go the way she wanted, and now she can jumpstart a new one. I'm in here clapping for her. She was clapping for herself, because that's what I do. I want to empower you to be the best version of yourself, so you can clap for yourself. And to see her out there shining in the streets from what a business she started before, but now we got our parachute plane, we got her teed up, and she doing different things, and she's doing big things. So all I'm saying is, it's okay to fall or fail, but I want you to fall forward, meaning make a step, learn from it, and keep going. Okay. I don't want you to become stagnant, because it's going to decrease your progress and you have nothing. Now, what I also know too is, when you're trying to make it perfect, you're not always your authentic self. We call that the representative. Okay, what is the representative? That's that representative voice that wants to make it look all perfect and clean, and there's no problems, and everything looks good, and life is great, and this is grand. Nah. When you in a healing journey, or when you are just trying to make it through to your next step, sometimes it looks ugly. Whitney Morgan talked about that in her last episode, where sometimes healing is ugly. Sometimes self-care look ugly, like you crying, you got tear stains, you looking crazy, you coming through the mud, and you just trying to come up out that thing, and it just might not look sexy. So just understand that, let go of the representative, be your authentic self, and just do it and embrace it, because really it doesn't matter what people think about you, it's what you think about yourself. And remember, when I speak on the podcast, I speak in layers, because that's why I really drilled down that self-worth one, talking about your value is always 100, whether you're winning or you're learning. And that all becomes on perfection too, because when we fail, we always look back at ourselves and wonder, is our value enough? And the answer to that is, it is always enough. And just because you fail don't mean you can't get back up. I'm teaching my son how to ride a bike and do some other things. And when he fell, I was like, listen, boo boo, get up and we going to do it again. Teaching him how to box jump, but we step jumping because we use the steps. And so he like, mommy, I ain't gonna get it. We do it a few more times. We keep doing it. Repetition. So repetition is another way for you to get more comfortable and break out of that perfection that you have. What is the story that you're telling yourself? So, when I'm coaching on this, it's thought work, and it's like, it's normally a deep rooted seed that means something to you, or why you respond the way you respond, or how you react, because the goal is you want people to respond to things instead of react. I used to be a reactor. You come for me, I ain't sent for you. Listen. Okay. And now it's more like, calmness is mastery. That comes from James Allen. And I sit there, and I like to use this one liner too. I'm choosing my words very carefully. And then I say what I'm going to say. That's a reset for me to say calmness is mastery, because when you can respond to something versus react to something, it's just so much better. And it's more about you, not about them, because sometimes they want to cause a reaction. So sometimes you just have to respond. And sometimes no response is a response, meaning silence, because you don't have time for the flim flam. So, as we talk about that, what are the thoughts you're telling yourself when you are in situations or when you're trying to start the business or if the thing didn't go the way you want to? What is the deep root? Is there abandonment issues there? Is there rejection issues there? Like, we got to get to the root, because once you get to the root of those thoughts, then we put positive ones in you. And then that leads into your feelings, which leads into your actions. I think that's good. I hope y'all are understanding where I'm coming with this. And then it helps you to build a legacy, because I just been seeing so much on social media and it's so keen about tell your story. Your story can impact somebody. I feel like sometimes we want to be so perfect when we're showing up to tell our story because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. But the reality is it may be somebody out there that needs to hear your story so you can help them come through. That's how Intentional Queen Journey was birthed. That's why y'all are a part of my tribe. I was just speaking my truth into the sound waves, and then y'all just started coming in, and I started to realize that there's people out there who are ahead of me in the journey, who are behind me in the journey, and it's just do one teach one. And that's what it's all about, and that's what my ebook is all about too. So I just really want y'all to get that down in your spirit, and I just thank you for your support. I also think this is good too, and this is kind of how I felt when I was getting my makeup done and the photographers was doing something with me, and it's journaling your journey. And so, whether you're taking videos, taking pictures, or you're writing it down, whatever works for you, have a trackable measurement of how far you've come. So for me, I can go back and look at my podcast episodes and I can see how far I come. I can hear how I sound. I can hear how my storylines have developed. I can hear about all the different people who have come to bless the podcast as guests. I can see that. It's measurable for me. So when I did that photo shoot, I was taking a picture of myself with my own phone, looking at myself in the mirror because I was so proud of myself. And then my photographer took a picture of me taking a picture of myself. But when she sent me the final photo, I was just like a little emotional, because it was like that was me saying, boo boo, you did it. Talking about myself, like, girl, you did that. Because sometimes we don't sit in it. I was coaching on that too. Sometimes you just fly through things in life and you don't really sit in it. And I remember being a valedictorian of my high school. And one of my teachers said this to me and my parents when I had got the award. And they said, Janine always wants it to be perfect, but she never sits back and smells the roses. She always on the next goal. And I'm now, I've been out of school a long time, a few decades. But the point I'm saying here is this: I still hear that and I can understand it more now, because me knowing now it don't got to be perfect, and it's okay for people to see my flaws, and it's okay for people to see my vulnerability. It's okay to show courage. It's okay to be confident. It's okay to celebrate yourself. Don't be cocky, but it's okay to celebrate your wins. It's okay to choose people who want to choose you in your light. It's okay to be different. Like, these are all the pearls right there. But sitting in that and saying, good job. Look at what you did. Because guess what? As soon as you hit that one target, you get ready to hit another target. And when you hit another target, guess what? When you hit that next target, it's going to be a new level. It's going to be new devils. It's going to be new problems. And you have to be able to look back and say, how did I get there the last time? I was watching something on YouTube. I think it was a sermon, and he said, go back to Bethel. I think it was Stephen Furtick. And they was talking about when you up against trials and tribulations, the next hurdle. Look back and say, how did I win that? Where was God at during that time? Go back to where you found him. Go back and do the things you used to do. Well, how will you know what you used to do if you didn't really track what you did so you can go back and do it? So that's the purpose I'm saying with that. And I just want you to make it easy and make it light. And what I mean by do it really got to be that detailed? Can you just submit it and change it? So, like, even if you are, like I said, with the book, I was like, oh, is the cover right? Is this right? If I ain't ever just choose a cover, there'd be no book. Like, just commit and pivot, and commit and pivot. And that's what I mean by make it easy and light. When you commit to something, it's a baby step. And then if it don't work, then you pivot to something else or you alter it. And you just keep going, because a baby step is still a step. But you got to remember the thoughts you're telling yourself about what you're doing, and knowing that it doesn't have to always be the dot of the I or the cross of the T. So, man, that's my story today. I didn't want it to go too long. I want you guys to go ahead and use this as thought work. So you know what your thought work gonna be? Go back and track your journey. What is a win that you have for yourself? What are you trying to do for yourself? Those are some good things I want you to do some thought work on. Because especially if you were in perfection paralysis like me, that's going to help you. It's going to change your life. Actually, it's going to make you feel lighter, like less stressed. Okay. So subscribe to the email newsletter. Intentional Queen Refuel comes out it comes out the last Thursday of every month. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you like to listen to me, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We all around. And listen, that new ebook is out, Blessing Women Near and Far. And if you want that promotional code, it is 25% off. So just type in podcast, PODCAST. Level up your intentional queen to a better you. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye bye.